The episode begins with Yuzuriha Inori-kun escaping the GHQ building with the mission of stealing Void Genome. She ends up getting hurt by the forces who try to retrieve the Void Genome. Inori inserts a parcel, the Void Genome, into Fu-Niru, asking it to help deliver the parcel to Guy, her boss. Fu-Niru fails, and Inori eventually falls off a cliff into a river due to an explosion caused by the missiles of the GHQ agents. In the morning, Inori finds shelter at Shu's warehouse studio. Shu Ouma is a 17-year-old teen with poor social skills living in Japan under the strict rule of the government organization GHQ in the wake of the apocalypse virus incident which occurred 10 years ago. At his warehouse studio, he encounters Inuri, the lead singer of the internet band Egoist, who is recovering from her wounds after stealing a formula called Void Genome from the GHQ. Shu questions Inori, and she cajoles him to help her deliver the parcel to Guy. Inori is captured by the GHQ Antibodies Division. Shu is powerless to stop them. To make amends, Shu finds Guy, with Fu-Niru's help, using the map. However, Major Gwyn orders the antibodies to exterminate the residents of Roppongi in order to recover the Void Genome. Shu rescues Inori after he had been told by Guy to protect her at all costs when a GHQ-designed robot tries to attack them. The attack breaks the test tube holding the Void Genome, giving Shu the power of kings. He pulls out Inori's Void, a large sword, and destroys the Endlave. After Ouma Shu-kun destroys several GHQ Endlaves, report reaches Medic, a member of GHQ, that there is critical damages to Unit 322, and that Lieutenant Zane is injured by the backlash. Shu, Inori, and the members of Funeral Parlor are forced to retreat when an advanced Endlave, ridden by 2nd Lieutenant Daryl Kill-em-all Yan, joins the battle. Daryl Yan, the Major General's son, is a narcissistic officer who hates being touched on the grounds that most people are infected. After regrouping with the others, Guy congratulates his hacker, Sugumi, and Endlave pilot, Ayase, but scolds Inori. The power of the Void Genome is originally meant to be given to him, but Inori gives it to Shu. Regardless, Guy still wants the power of kings, so he asks Shu for help. Gwen holds a group of innocent civilians hostage. Daryl and several soldiers execute some of them without mercy. Gwen orders Funeral Parlor to surrender. The members instead trick Daryl into driving his Endlave away from Gwen's command center, where Funeral Parlor has a standoff against Gwen's remaining men. Using the standoff as a diversion, Shu goes to the truck that holds Daryl's cockpit and pulls out Daryl's Void, a weapon called Kaleidoscope. When Gwen fires his laser weapons at Guy at the countdown of 10, Shu uses Kaleidoscope to shield Guy and deflect the lasers back at Gwen and his men, killing them. Despite seeing the atrocities the GHQ performs and what Funeral Parlor is fighting for, Shu declines to join them as he feels he is no hero. The next day, to his surprise, Inori has transferred to his school. A video from the Funeral Parlor Undertaker reveals Guy giving a speech on how they will continue to oppose the GHQ. In class, the teacher informs the class to report any information on these terrorists due to the event that occurred in Roppongi. A new student arrives to class. As everyone gazes at the beautiful pink girl, Inuri, Shu calls her name out, and everyone gasps that she is the egotist. Kunan introduces herself to Inori, and then Suta asks Inori about her thoughts on the group. Undertaker. Everyone starts to ask Inori for an autograph. Yahiro calms down the crowd, saving Inori from further interrogation. Yahiro is Shu's friend, and had collaborated earlier with him to create a modern film appreciation society. However, Inori did not only join Shu's class as his new classmate, she also moves into his apartment and now lives with him. Shu, who doesn't understand why Inori is with him, even after she says she is around to protect him, receives an explanation from Guy Tsutsugami. Guy tells Shu that there is a witness that saw and identified Shu during the Undertaker's attack in Roppongi, and that witness happens to attend Shu's school. Inori and Shu's job is to search through the student body for the witness. He must extract the student's voids to find out which one of them is the witness. After so many attempts, Shu eventually recognizes and pulls out the required void, a scissors form void, from Yahiro after a short argument. Inori tries to end Yahiro right there. Shu vehemently opposes, and Yahiro is spared. Yahiro eventually betrays Shu, handing him over to GHQ. Shu is arrested. Shu has been taken away by GHQ officials and interrogated as a suspected terrorist. While being held prisoner, Shu starts learning more about Undertaker and their plans from GHQ. Major Sagai asks Shu why he is constantly seen with Guy in pictures. Shu ignores him and tells him to meet Guy for an answer. Guy, on the other hand, sends a message across through a video and states that the Undertakers will rescue their comrade without failure. Major Sagai explains why Yahiro sells Shu out. He says that Yahiro is a drug dealer for Noma gene. He is doing it as a source of income to take care of his brother Jun, who is really sick with an infection from a poor reaction to a vaccine. Shu becomes even more indecisive about whose side he should be on than he was earlier, and the fact that Guy refuses to answer any of his questions makes matters even more confusing for him. Guy is trying to release a mass murderer, Kido Kenji. Major Sagai claims Guy is trying to steal the criminal from them. Shu is confused. While Shu's lost in his own sea of thoughts, Undertaker is already on its way to rescue Kido Kenji, that is also held prisoner by GHQ. Seeing that rescuing him is not part of the plan, who should Shu put his faith and trust in? Guy shows up in the prison as Shu's lawyer, in disguise as Lawyer Mason. He instructs Shu to remove Kido Kenji's void immediately he gets in touch with him. Shu is still confused, but follows Guy's orders. Shu wins against GHQ again, with the use of Kido's void and with the help of Inori. At the end of the struggle, Guy asks if Shu is with him. Shu, after so many ruminations, gives in and follows Guy with Inori in his arms. Shu is brought to Undertaker's headquarters at Roppongi Fort, where Guy holds a text for Shu before he can officially join his resistance group. While preparing to lead a mission to take over leukocyte, Guy assigns Ayase to instruct Shu in training him for the trial. Ayase holds onto his pen, unaware that it is a transmite given to him by Major Sagai, using this as motivation. After a day of hard training with members Argo, Tsukishima, and Ugamo, Shu encounters Inori, realizing that Guy was the one who told her to convince him to join Funeral Parlor. After Inori enters Guy's room, a dejected Shu bumps into Ayase, who consoles and prepares him for his trial. Unknown to them, however, Inori is actually giving Guy a blood transfusion. On the day of the trial, Shu has a mock battle with Ayase, where the goal is to get past and into the vehicle placed behind her and Leif Steiner, after going to Argo to extract and use his void in the form of a flashlight that temporarily brings out blinding darkness. Shu manages to succeed the task and receives his pen back as his reward for passing the trial. Sugumi gives the members a troubling report that Guy, who earlier led a team to intercept the arrival of mercenaries at an airport and confiscate their supplies, was attacked by the leukocyte, an orbital satellite laser. She says it is fired at Point Delta, where Guy is located. Although Guy survives the attack, both his team and the mercenaries were killed by the leukocyte blast. At the outskirts of Tsukugazi Dam, Guy briefs Funeral Parlor that their next mission is to attack the dam where the leukocyte control system is located. But Shu rejects this plan due to the percentage of members who might die. Meanwhile, at Tsukugazi Dam, Sagai informs Kido that his men are prepared for Funeral Parlor's attack. As Guy gets another blood transfusion in a room alone, he feels burdened for the lives sacrificed during the leukocyte incident. After eavesdropping on this, Shu has a brief exchange with Guy, but eventually agrees with the plan, understanding that Guy knows how much the lives sacrificed are worth to him. During the operation, Funeral Parlor distracts GHQ from guarding the dam, allowing Shu, Inori, Guy, and Kenji to infiltrate the leukocyte control system. As Shu hacks the control system using Kenji's void, Sagai sends Daryl to get Shu, but Guy defeats Daryl. However, Daryl damages the control system, causing Leukocyte 1 to malfunction and descend into Tokyo. As Sagai shows up, Guy makes a deal with him to use the pen, which Guy was aware that it was a transmitter, in order to use Leukocyte 3 to destroy Leukocyte 1 in exchange for Sagai to delete all of Shu's data in relation to Funeral Parlor. While Guy prepares to line up the transmitter with the 2 Leukocyte satellites, Shu's wish to act upon this heeds Inori to fuse her void with that of Kenji, creating a powerful laser weapon which he uses to destroy both satellites just as their paths intersect. With the operation over, Shu finally accepts Guy's offer and joins Funeral Parlor. Shu returns to school, but deals with the rumors that have spread due to his absence. Luckily, the student council president, Arisa Kuhoen, fabricates a story for his apprehension to stop the rumors, but he has not heard any word about Yahiro since his capture. After school, Shu's stepmother, Haruka Uma, returns home and welcomes Inori without much question. Meanwhile, Guy initiates a plan to acquire a new supply route for Funeral Parlor. The following night, Arisa and her grandfather, Okina Kohoen, the head of a conglomerate called the Kohoen Group, attend a party on a cruise ship, whilst GHQ Colonel Dan Eagleman briefs Daryl, Sagai, and GHQ Intel Officer Rowan in using missiles to attack the ship, following intelligence that Okina plans to make a business deal with an international party outside Japan. As the operation begins, Shu and Guy sneak on board the ship, dressed as guests. When Shu runs into Arisa, Guy distracts her while Shu receives information from Sugumi regarding Eagleman's plan. To save the ship and its passengers, Guy tricks Arisa into coming to the upper deck, where Shu extracts her void in the form of a ball that projects a huge disc shield and uses it to defend from the onslaught of missiles. Okina, after witnessing this operation, agrees to have the Kohuan group form a partnership with Funeral Parlor for their new supply route when contacting Shibunji, one of the members. Before leaving the ship, Guy tells Arisa that despite her toughened exterior, she is shy to the doting of others. As Shu and Inori leave for school the next day, Shu admits that for the first time, he is glad for the power he possesses. Shu and Inori are requested by Guy to bring Suta Tamadate, Hermonju, and Kenon Kusama, classmates of the Motion Pictures Research Club, to visit a beach resort at Oshima, though in a guise as a mission in which will require drawing out Suta's void. After having some fun on the beach with the others, Shu pays a visit to the grave of his late father, Kurosu Uma, the leading expert of the apocalypse virus, before his untimely death amid the Lost Christmas incident. Guy explains to Shu that the mission is to break into a covert GHQ base disguised as a shrine, but Shu has to make use of Suta having feelings for Inori in order to draw out his void. Later that night, at a sidewalk, as Suta attempts to confess his love to Inori, Shu rushes in and draws out Suta's void, embarrassing himself in front of the Funeral Parlor members hidden around the area. As Shu, Inori, and Guy enter the vault of the base, using Suta's void in the form of a camera that unlocks anything, they discover the item they were looking for has gone missing. Kido, who previously infiltrated the vault using Kurosu's access card, stands before Kuroso's grave holding the item, a canister containing a meteorite which was the cause of the apocalypse virus. The next morning, Shu and Suta make amends to their friendship due to their inability of understanding each other. Finally, as everyone leaves Oshima, Inori explains to Shu how people's voids change based on his relationship with them. Before being tracked by Sagai, Yahiro manages to escape with his younger brother, Jun Samukawa, after taking refuge at an orphanage. After school, Kanon makes an excuse to leave the classroom to give Hare the opportunity to go shopping alone with Shu when he arrives in the classroom. However, Hare's moment to confess to Shu on the train is inadvertently interrupted when Yahiro bursts in carrying drugs. After Shu parts with Hare, Yahiro takes him to see Jun, explaining that when they went into hiding after the incident at the isolation ward, so Shu calls Ayase to arrange a transport in resolve to help Yahiro escape with Jun. However, GHQ track down Yahiro, and Sagai and Daryl commence an operation to eliminate Jun, prompting Shu to forcibly extract Yahiro's void. Daryl uses his enclave to attack Shu, equipped with a new weapon designed to target voids, but Jun is targeted instead when he stands up, causing the virus to migrate into the enclave. As it malfunctions, the enclave proceeds to attack Yahiro, and as Shu stabs it with Yahiro's void, he enters Jun's memories of the events before and during the Lost Christmas incident with Yahiro. Jun, saying that the virus enabled him to see voids and the darkness of people's hearts, including that of Yahiro, begs Shu to use Yahiro's void to sever his life thread while he still has fond memories of Yahiro, which Shu reluctantly does so in order to save Yahiro's life. As Yahiro awakens, he is horrified when Shu admits to having killed Jun. Shu's recurring traumatic hallucinations cost Funeral Parlor a mission to stop a convoy. Due to these panic attacks, Guy and Ais tell Shu not to be involved with Funeral Parlor anymore. Meanwhile, Major General Yan, after putting Kato under house arrest for stealing the Apocalypse virus meteorite, plans to have it transported overseas. But Funeral Parlor stages an operation to attack the transport plane and retrieve it. However, the transport plane is found to be unmanned, and Funeral Parlor falls into a trap set by Sagai. After school, Hare slaps a depressed Shu when he confesses to her because she feels as if she is being replaced by Inori, while also admitting that she witnessed him drawing out Yahiro's void to destroy the infected enclave. Sagai, who previously had the antibodies vaccinate themselves, activates a genetic resonance broadcast at Tokyo Tower, causing the meteorite to spread the Apocalypse virus all over Tokyo. With both GHQ and Funeral Parlor in disarray due to the virus, the antibodies attack both of them, in which Rowan rescues Kaido from his confinement and takes Haruka prisoner. Finally, Kaido watches the chaos from GHQ headquarters, declaring that he will finish what he started 10 years ago. As the Apocalypse virus continues spreading over Tokyo, Daryl kills his father, General Yan, and subordinates upon learning about General Yan's affair with his secretary, Emily. Kaido announces taking over command of GHQ, in which the cause of the virus outbreak is falsely reported on the news to be started by Funeral Parlor. Shu, learning about this from Tsugumi, contacts Yahiro, Suta, Hare, Kanon, and Arisa to ask them for their assistance to save Funeral Parlor after revealing to them his power of drawing out their voids. Meanwhile, at the airport, Haruka manages to escape from the antibodies thanks to Eagleman's sacrifice, and encounters Inori and Guy, the latter infected with the Apocalypse virus, and works with them to stop the outbreak. Kaido and Sagai head to Roppongi Fort with the meteorite to a hidden facility inside the base to start the next stage of their plans. Haruka manages to program a resonance broadcaster out of a radio tower, allowing Inori to sing her egoist song through it to stop the outbreak and cure the infected. At the same time, Shu and his friends break through the airport barricade and defeat the GHQ forces by using his friends' voids, much to the relief of the other Funeral Parlor members. As Shu finally reaches Inori, a mysterious blonde boy, later recognized as Yu, suddenly teleports behind Inori and extracts her void to kill Shu, only for Guy to protect Shu from injury. As the outbreak resumes, virus crystals throughout Tokyo spiral into the air and forms a crystal tower. Kaido releases Segal from his services, giving him data containing information on voids as promised before going to the Crystal Tower. Meanwhile, Guy tells Shu to follow Yu, who helps Shu regain his memories. When he was younger, Shu and his older sister, Mana Uma, living on an island at Oshima, spotted Guy washed up on the beach. Guy spent the summer with them at their beach house, becoming best friends with Shu while falling in love with Mana. After experiencing the flashback, Shu finds himself in the Crystal Tower, where Kaido has Inori bound. Kaido explains that Inori was created to resurrect Mana, whose soul lies preserved thanks to the virus, in order to spread the virus to annihilate the human race, and he intends to create a new race by marrying Mana. As Yu prepares a ceremony, another flashback reveals that Mana told Shu that she wanted to marry him. However, Guy later learned that she was infected with the Apocalypse virus, which induced her insanity, but Mana threatened him not to tell Shu. Back in the present, Shu tries to stop the ceremony, only to be bound by crystal-like plants controlled by Mana. Guy and Aisa arrive in the tower to fight back, but Aisa's enclave Steiner is destroyed in the process. The last flashback reveals that Guy asked Shu to meet him at a church to tell him the truth about Mana, but Mana came instead and tricked Guy into shooting himself with a defective gun. Shu was disturbed by this upon his arrival, then rejected to marry her, which caused her to go berserk and spread the Apocalypse virus all over Tokyo, ending up destroying herself from her own power out of fear. As a result, Guy vowed to become stronger, seeing as he was responsible for this, while Shu repressed his memories about Mana and Guy due to trauma. Shu, who finally remembers his past, extracts Guy's void, a gun that forces out other people's voids, and goes to rescue Inori while Guy heads to the pod to free Mana's soul. Kaido tries to stop them, but Yu knocks him out for failing to marry. Guy reaches for the pod, but is pierced by the crystals protecting it. Shu has no choice but to stab Guy through his body with Inora's void to destroy the pod. As the tower crumbles, Guy finally holds Mana in his arms, and they disappear together, while Shu and Inori float to safety and mourn for his death. What will happen with Shu? What is Inori's fate? Where do they go from here? I bet there are so many questions to ask. We are sure to bring that to you in the next episode. For now, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can continue to enjoy the very best of us. Take care and stay safe.